think the way that the US government works, our military and our armed forces play a very specific role. I think what our military is in fact seeing is that environmental problems are becoming a security threat. And so I think that we are addressing it in that way, that conflict over resources, the degradation of an environment that we all depend on, creates conflict between countries, and that is something we want to prevent. And so in that way, it does become a national security concern. I don't know if we'll ever shift to having Navy ships start cleaning up the ocean. That might be a bit beyond the scope, but I think our other US government agencies, so our Coast Guard, our NOAA, which is our National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, those agencies that do have a law enforcement capacity as well are very cognizant about the issues related to marine plastics and are very active in that space as well, both in trying to prevent that and to clean them up as well.
Right, thank you, Ms. Nikki.
That's an excellent point. I think looking at any solutions for waste management or for minimizing our use of plastics, you have to factor in the economics. If something is just fundamentally more expensive, people are never going to choose that option. Especially people, like you said, with limited amounts of disposable income. They're going to make the thrifty choice. I think what you also have to do, though, is think about the life cycle of the product. And so an individual plastic bag or plastic container might be cheaper in the short term, but a container or something that you can reuse might be cheaper in the long term. So what we're seeing is certain consumer good products and companies like Procter & Gamble that make shampoo and things like that, they're sort of slowly transitioning to a system where you will get a bottle that you can refill. So they're factoring in the cost into that and helping to minimize the sort of bottom line felt in your pocketbook when they transition over. And you have to think back to, the idea of single-use plastics is fairly new. That back in the day, people didn't have the ability to buy shampoo by the sachet, and that they had a glass bottle or something else that they could refill. And so I think we're slowly seeing a move back towards that model, where even people who might not have a lot of disposable income can still buy things in small amounts that are affordable, but just the packaging and the method of obtaining that would change.
I think part of it is convenience. It's plastic is very convenient, not only for the people that are selling the product, but also for the people that are buying it. It's always easier to take, the diaper that is disposable as opposed to taking your diaper that you can rewash, or to use your plastic or to buy a plastic bottle at a sporting event instead of carrying yours around. So, and for the food industry, I've heard that it's also a matter of preservation. The food usually preserves better in plastic than in the open air with the oxygen that will get it to rot faster or not look as pristine. So it's a migration, I think, that needs to occur not only with the consumer but also with not with the producer, I'm sorry, but with the consumer as well. Because the producer already has a way of doing things, they already have their infrastructure, and it's hard for them to shift. But as the film said, it's our individual choice of whether we want to make the small changes and just use a plastic that is absolutely and completely necessary. If we can do away with a plastic bottle, or do away with our plastic lunch container, or do away with our plastic without our plastic straw, then we should go ahead and do that. If for some reason we cannot live without, our diaper, because we're traveling around the world with our child, then we have to do that. But it's an individual choice. So I think that's the reason that it hasn't been diminishing. It's because people are slowly migrating into doing away without the use of plastics.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So the question was regarding great films like this one. Sometimes offered through American Film Showcase and other films that are really special and I think awaken feelings of interest and concern in people. We really love to be able to have the ability to share films like these with audiences like you, both here and in other places in the Philippines as well. And I know that our partners at SM and SM Cares will be screening this same film, not just here today, but in 2 more cities already following today over the next couple of months. And And I know that they are looking to expand that partnership and program further, and so are we. We also have 14 American Corners and an American Center around the Philippines. And those are places where, especially in Earth Day, but all around the year, we show special screenings of films and other programs and initiatives that help people to explore ways of taking on these challenges and inspiring people to see what they can do. Because I think it's best also to focus on that can do. What can we individually, each one of us, do in our daily lives? How can we challenge companies that sell these things in plastic to say, hey, do something about this? But it's about us taking that initiative. So we're always looking for ways to partner with great supporters and to make these ideas known about so that we can all solve the problems together. Thanks.
Thank you.
Film in Netflix last Good Friday. I'm sorry, I was watching a film on Good Friday. Pero if it's already available in Netflix, then you can share to your friends, to your family, and you can use your Facebook accounts. I'm sure everybody here has FB accounts, Twitter, and share, that I watched a great film. It's an eye-opener. It's all about marine plastics and how we can reduce plastics in oceans, and we can be part of that solution. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maria. Last
Ideas that are being explored, and one thing that I think is really cool is one of the projects that USAID is funding is a zero waste Sari Sari store, and so looking at a model to sort of transform the way goods are sold in the Philippines to reduce the amount of waste, but to still make things affordable and consistent with the way people buy things here.
I'd like to add something. Hello, thank you, Nikki, for sharing that. It's one of the grantee of the Municipal Waste Recycling Program. It's called Wala Usik. So if you who can speak Visayan here, so it means zero waste. Now, if you look into Facebook and type in Wala Usik, it's from the Philippine Reef Rainforest Foundation, and they tried to spearhead a model wherein instead of selling plastic sachet, yung mga tingi-tingi, shampoo, and soy sauce, toothpaste, they have these huge containers, and then they have this little bottles and Google like the funnel. So they encourage the consumer, the buyers, to bring their own containers. And then they have already launched 2 Wala Usik Sari Sari stores in Bacolod City, and they are targeting to have 8 more, or a total of 8, so 6 more to go.
Thank you, Ms. Maria. Yes.